As I grew older, I frequently wondered how many people were also living in secrecy. And to what extent does this secrecy perpetuate a culture of silence where most queer people die straight? I was beginning to doubt whether the grief and shame I was experiencing in isolation was really worth enduring, for the only choice I'd ever made about being a transsexual was to hide it. And for a host of reasons, the hiding that I'd been doing for the better part of my 27 years was starting to get to me. I found myself bitter, numb, and increasingly resentful. I stopped caring about the people in my life and their needs because there was no room for my own. Life had become nothing more than social maintenance. I knew I needed to deal with my gender, but at what cost? Was I willing to give up my safety, employability, and the social privilege that comes with being perceived as a white heterosexual male? Am I ready to potentially lose my family, friends, Malgosia? Is being true to myself really worth the possibility of losing all this?
Kvikmyndin She's a Boy I Knew er heimildamynd kvikmyndagerðarkonunnar Gwen Hayworth sem fjallar ferli hennar sjálfrar til að leiðrétta kyn sitt. Gwen notar viðtöl við sína nánustu, gamlar fjölskyldumyndir, teiknimyndir og talhólfskilaboð til að segja sögu sína. Hún lýsir því hvernig henni hefur fundist hún vera kvenmaður í karlmannslíkama allt frá 4 ára aldri. Gwen hét Stephen þegar hún var karlmaður og Stephen hélt í leyndu fyrir öllum að hann vildi vera kvenmaður þangað til hann var kominn á 30-aldur. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your film. It's very personal and you display a lot of interviews with your family members. How was the process?
I found the process of making the film really cathartic. It was kind of like a debrief for the whole process of transitioning genders and getting closer and in touch with my family more. So I thought, for me, it was very moving to make, and to be able to create something for other people, just for other families that are going through a similar thing. I just felt that we've added something good to the world, and that makes me feel incredibly proud of them for being such a big part of it.
And you spoke about earlier in the Q&A session about inspiring other people to tell their stories. Tell us a little bit about that.
When I came out about transgender, and I knew that even though I had a male body, that I felt female inside and need to transition, it was a big thing for me to tell my family, and they wanted to see something that showed not just what I'd be going through, but what they'd be going through. And so I looked around and I couldn't find anything that did it in a very proactive or a very thorough manner. So when we went through our own scenario and we're still together later on, I asked them if they would be okay with making this film, and I got their go-ahead, and we worked on it. And for me, I feel like I've done something decent. So, sorry, I totally forgot what your question was.
That's okay. But as somebody asked earlier on, how did you get them to be so open? Like all of them were so open and genuine about things. How did you manage that?
A few things that I did in order to get such honest answers is I really did a lot of prep work with them, and I gave them the questions that I was going to ask for in advance, and asked them to add any questions or things that they thought was important to talk about. But then when I was actually shooting it, it was just me in the room with them, so they were talking directly to me. And by not having any crew around, I think I was able to keep them from self-censoring themselves. I think if there's other people around, they would have been worried about saying anything that was too, might be hurtful or loaded in an emotional manner. So that, I think they felt really confident at that point that the way I was going to take this film wouldn't be exploitative, that it was based out of love.
So your film, is it in any other film festival circuits now, or where is it displaying?
Oh, I premiered my film last October in Vancouver, and then I was able to go to IDFA, the International Documentary Film Festival in Amsterdam. And since then, it's been to about 70, 75 films. And after this, in October, I'll be going to Tampa, Florida, Seattle, Washington, back to Hamburg and Hanover, and Bloomington, Indiana. And in November, I'll be in Brazil with it, and in Canada again. So I've been traveling a lot with it, and as a filmmaker, that's a wonderful scenario. But as an activist, it's also really incredibly, it's beneficial that I can, as a transgendered person, go out there and show the piece of art to people and answer their questions, because I think it helps break down certain stigma or stereotypes that people have about transgendered people.
And maybe open up the discussion in general, or open up, what do you call it, enlightened information, or not information, but discussion.
I hope so. I hope that the film will help facilitate dialogue between trans folk and their family and friends, but also with their employers and different people out there, so that people can think about gender a little more openly, and that it not just be about trans people and their gender, but all people, because we all have our own unique balance of masculine and feminine traits. And I think that all of us, if we feel confined by the gender binary, it puts straitjackets on us all. And I think that this is just one film of many that will probably, hopefully, look at gender and try to make it more open for all of us.
So, Gwen, I thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.